The future is here, and it is unreal to the fifth power.
Welcome back to AsArt with Nick and John. We post 3 videos a week. Hit that subscribe button to get all of our updates to visual effects breakdown, movie reviews, animation breakdowns, animations themselves. And if you're lost and you don't know what to do with a podcast of videos, go to asart.space to get all the info you need. John, Unreal 5 is unreal. Like, when I was watching, I'm like, this can't be real. Wait, it is unreal. I'm so confused right now. Do I have to high five someone? Get it? Unreal 5? No.
So it's lame. I keep up with the game industry far more than I actually play games, which is odd. I mean, I play them, but I just always am interested in the technology, and especially when Unreal 4 came out, and especially when they made it a free open source code model. I was like, wow, this is going to change things a lot. And obviously you've seen huge developments in this world, and it's not just a game engine anymore. They use it for architectural visualization. They're using it for films. They're using it for live action virtual production. It's just amazing how when you make something open source and you make it available to everybody, how much it's going to evolve so quickly. But behind doors, I honestly thought for a while they were going to do like the Mac OS, and this is a lame comparison, where they were just going to keep iterating it. It's always going to be Mac OS X or whatever, but they're actually releasing an Unreal Engine 5, but they've said, unlike previous versions, we're going to make it very easy for people to transition from working in Unreal Engine 4 to Unreal Engine 5. So you shouldn't, aside from having more power, you shouldn't have to relearn a whole interface, which to me is a big deal, because you're not having to throw away what you've learned and what you've developed.
Dude, it made me want to create games. Like I've created a 2D game once in Unreal. When John first introduced the program to me, he's like, Nick, I'm like, oh my gosh, you create games? What? And then like the next day, I'm like,
in like 3 days, yeah, he made a side scroller. I'm like, what the heck, dude? I'm like, but honestly, so they showed this demo running on a PlayStation 5, which is obviously exciting because you can see what next generation consoles can do, and obviously it's gonna be able to run on the Xbox, Series X and things like that as well. But the craziest thing is not just what it can put out fidelity wise, but the main goal it seems like they're trying to do, and they introduced the engine with the not a game maker, but kind of a filmmaker too. Like, hey, how can we make this to where it's much more streamlined, much more optimized, and much less limitations? So if you guys aren't familiar with Zbrush, it's kind of the industry standard program where if you want to make a digital character, unless you're 3D scanning them in, you sculpt it basically out of a piece of clay, a program that unfortunately I'm not good with and don't know how to use, but amazing stuff. If you want to check out a really good artist, a person that Nick and I both know, his name's Damon Woods, DamonWoods. He's worked at Kojima Studios, and he's works on all kinds of cool stuff, but his main tool of choice is ZBrush. And you can make these amazing models, but they're millions and millions and millions of these small triangles and polygons. And you can't just drop that into a game engine or even Maya in some cases, because it'll just crash. It's too much of an overload. And yet in this demo, they're like, we just dropped in. So
the statues. Oh my God.
Storytelling too. They dropped in a statue and they said, this is straight from ZBrush. This is 40 million polygons, whatever. Yeah. And then, but they lead you through it almost like a story. And then this Tomb Raider type girl walks into the next room and they go, and now we have 50 more of the exact same thing where we have billions of polygons. I was like, dude, I was just like blown away.
It's so crazy. So they start off like it's dark, so you're like, oh dang, there's a couple, and then they do this thing which opens up like direct sunlight, and it's just like,
yeah. And I mean, all they needed was the Inception thing going, bah! Yeah, that's all they needed. But so to me, what they're talking about, like being able to drop in stuff that's film quality assets. To me, that still feels, it's great for games, but that's catering more to the other avenues they're taking the engine, like in virtual production and making films, because you can drop that into a game engine and have it stream and work through whatever witchcraft they're doing is amazing. They toggle a setting to where you actually see all the individual triangles, and they're so small that it looks just like noise.
Yeah.
It just, billions of polygons. It is
just noise, basically. Yeah.
It looks like noise. But the thing is that if you're having to digitally deliver or on disk deliver a game, you can't just drop in those unoptimized assets because it's going to take up so much space. Games are already, some of them are like 100 gigabytes. They're getting to be gigantic. So, and this is with current optimization. But as far as being artist friendly, it's going to be amazing, because if you guys don't know what normal maps are, so you like we'll go back to the ZBrush example. You sculpt this beautiful, perfect, detailed model with all the wrinkles, and then you do a much more like kind of less detailed version, and you say, okay, these all the geometry is not actually here to get these pores and stuff, but I'm gonna make this thing called the normal map. It's not actually adding shape, but it's going to reflect and bend the light as if it was hitting it from that angle, so it makes it look like more details there. But they're saying basically you don't have to do that anymore, and you're getting real-time global illumination, which up until now, you either have to do crazy long renders in traditional pipelines, or you have to have a very high-end NVIDIA graphics card, and that slows down things horribly to where it's not, as a game, it's not even really playable. And they were showing this off running at 30 frames a second, which is still way lower than what people are used to at 60 frames per second. But amazing stuff. So I've just rambled on about all kinds of techno babble, but it's very exciting, and it's coming next year along with the consoles. So it's very, very exciting stuff, and I can't wait to see what's going to happen.
I know, it makes me want to buy a kick-ass computer.
But that's the thing, though. And so this is one of the biggest things is whatever the consoles are, that becomes the baseline for what you create on. So at first, it's going to be a little bit of a step up, like PCs right now aren't going to be at quite that level, because usually they sell consoles at a loss. But very quickly, everything that's developed for that's going to be the baseline. So you're going to be seeing a lot of content that's going to be utilizing that stuff. Now, the one big backlash that a lot of people say that is true is whenever you see a tech demo, like if you look, so my favorite demos for Unreal Engine 4 that just completely sold me on, I'd be able to watch a movie on this. One's called the Infiltrator demo, and the other one's called the Kite demo. And the Kite demo is the one they released when they released Unreal Engine 4 for free, and Infiltrator demo was before that. But both of them look like cinematic quality level, but you still don't really see games that, well, you are getting some games now that look that good, but those tech demos were released years ago. So are games actually going to look that good? Who knows? But the exciting thing is the possibilities are there, but not just for games, for film, for animation, for virtual production. That's the most exciting thing.
You can quote George, or I'm going to quote George Lucas. We're going to be making this stuff in our garages.
Oh, or the basement.
Or the basement, or in a giant studio. Or on Skywalker Ranch. Check out our animation walk cycle. We did it on Unreal. It was so cool. Like we mixed Maya, and I rendered it with a toon shader so it can be flat, because I wanted to give like a 2D animation feel, but I was like, 2D animation feel. But I was just like, I don't want to draw the cityscape, John. And John's like, well, why not just do it in Unreal? I'm like, yeah, I didn't even think about that. And we were so fortunate too, because that week a city was on sale for free at the store.
Yeah, and that's another crazy thing about this whole Unreal kind of revolution. Other game engines out there are really cool as well, but the community, they just give out content, and it's a sharing-based community. You post on a forum, you're likely to get an answer. And the Epic Games has really invested a lot in teaching, and the engine's been changing so much they have to keep updating the deprecated stuff. But it's just cool. Like, Nick's like, I want to have this rhino, this like, Bo the Rhino walking through this city, and he looked it up, and boom, free on the marketplace, the city. But the cool thing is it's a 2D rendered, it's a 3D object, but toon shaded, and it's a 2D flat object. It's still picking up the lighting, it's picking up the shading.
It was
so
cool.
Fun. And so
I just had to move the city around and expand it and stuff, but like it was like using Tony Hawk Pro Skater when you're able to build your own park. You're like, you just click and drag, duplicate, copy, and just kind of create a city. And it worked. The lighting, everything was dynamic, and there was a cool fog effect, which really gave it a cool depth of field. But me and John were messing a lot with the camera. We're like, do we do like 105 or 85? Because we want the city to be really blurred. Yeah. We want the lighting effects. And it was just, the thing we did in 2 days. It was like 2 days, and it was completed. Yeah. And we was just like, what? 2 days? This would have took me forever in Maya. Like, I wouldn't even be able to open up the city.
And that was remembering and figuring some things out as we were going along. I mean, and it's an hour long, by the way. If you tried to run that exact same scene in Maya, an hour, 24 frames a second for an hour, you would never finish unless
it's a really long sequence I rendered, yes.
with depth of field and then motion. I mean,
everything.
So
I even had lens flare on in the camera.
Yeah. Hey, but the cool thing is you used to have to license, like the big engine before Unreal was id Tech, like id Technology that made Doom and things like that. They would release an engine every number of years, and you would have to license that for thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, and then you would have to pay royalties, I think, as well. Maybe not the royalties. Now with Unreal Engine, they started doing the same thing. It was royalties, and then there was the dark horse that was always technologically maybe the most advanced, and kind of still is CryEngine, but it just is not as artist friendly and getting things in and out and working with it. But now all this is basically free, and all not all you have to do, but it's just okay if you can come up with an idea, you have a few people to work with, or even yourself. In a lot of cases, you can do amazing things. It's just really, really cool.
Highly recommend you if you know a little bit about 3D and stuff like that, download it. If not, this is a great time to learn 3D because it's becoming so easy to use on average computers. I was doing stuff on my laptop, on my MacBook, and it's not, I mean, I don't want to say it's an old decked out laptop, and it was running on it, which is very impressive. Very impressive. So
yeah, we both have the same model 2013 MacBook Pro, I think, and it's still able to use a modern game engine and be able to create things on there, which is kind of a cool thing to be able to say. So anyway, enough rambling from us. Check out unrealengine.com, I believe it is, and check that stuff out. If you haven't dug into this world, this is a great time to do it. Like Nick was saying, Unreal Engine is the way for a lot of things. If you're wanting to learn 3D mod and things like that, you want to do it on the cheap and free and totally workable, download Blender. Really cool stuff out there. Dig into the world. Check out AsArt.space for all of our audio and video links, and we'll see you on the next AsArt.